Hello there, my name is Jen Hirsch, one of the corrective exercise specialists here at Crossroads Chiropractic and Wellness. That was a very excessively excited hello there. We're playing with different greetings in these videos, don't judge me. Basically, I'm working on creating a series of videos as a library base for our corrective exercise clients here in office. So just know that these strategies that I'm teaching are strategies that I've adapted and am incorporating for clients that I work with on a regular basis. Are these the end-all strategies? No. Are these a one-size-fits-all? No. If you end up wanting to try them out, awesome. I would love to hear essentially how they worked for you, any comments, any questions. If you ever want to book with us here in office, all the links are in the bio, all your typical like advertising, YouTube stuff, right? But I've done a whole series of foam rolling videos and essentially stretching videos, have not added the upper body versions to it yet. So when I say foam rolling, right, foam rolling is essentially kind of a generic term for what we call myofascial release or static myofascial release, just depending on how you work with it. Now, when I say foam rolling, it also does not really mean that I'm necessarily using a foam roller per se. I actually don't use a foam roller for hardly any of my protocol. I use it pretty much just for quads and some additional support for upper body if you need it. You can check out the rest of the channel for some additional videos. I believe I even have one that's already up there for more upper body strategies for stretching, including a way to use the foam roller to release the pec. Just know that this video is very generic beginner myofascial release. So you can scale this a bunch of different directions, but this is just a general start, okay? So a lot of my clients come in with what we call upper cross syndrome, right? So upper cross syndrome is basically anyone who's T-Rexing and working at a desk, right? So that's most of us to some degree. Now, am I saying that this is a bad thing? No. Am I saying that this is a diagnosis? No. Am I saying that we necessarily need to fix this? No. Am I saying if it causes you issues, as in pain or discomfort, cool, let's start addressing that, right? That's what I do as a corrective exercise specialist. One of my things that I like to teach is how to use the ball on the wall in order to release some of those upper body muscles. Now, the reason I like doing it on the wall is because a lot of times when we're on the ground, we have way too much interaction with that trigger point. Most people kind of tend to go like no pain, no gain, right? When it comes to myofascial release, and that's just not the case. For most of your stretches and most of your myofascial interaction, you want to work tissue until first sensation, right? So if I'm foam rolling, I will move until I find the trigger point, and then I'm going to search which direction that trigger point is more intense. When I find it, I'm going to hold and take a couple of deep breaths. I'm not going to dig in. I'm not going to put my whole body weight on it. I'm not going to try to like work it out, right? I'm simply giving it a little interaction to get those neuroreceptors to let it go. Basis of foam rolling is using an object to move essentially hydration through the multiple layers of fascia, and then we're holding that trigger point to get the neuroreceptor to let go. If you are applying too much pressure or interaction to this tissue, the tissue is going to feel threatened and basically thicken, if you will. These are all very generic terms to make this more understandable for a YouTube video. If you want more in-depth explanations or if you've got questions or concerns, always reach out to me directly. I always like to say that because there's a lot of information on the internet. We'll just say it that way. So for my clients, what I like to teach is if you're having a lot of upper trap pain, let's not attack let's not attack the symptom first. Let's work more on the source and then see how much that symptom needs interaction. So we find it's a nice piece of wall here. Now, my personal suggestion is to make sure, especially in your homes, that it's a wall with a stud. Not that your corrective exercise specialist is actually maybe separated wall board at her house. Yeah, that's actually happened. So make sure that you find something that's solid, right? This being the case, I really like doorways, especially because with doorways, then I can go through and have more interaction and my face isn't against the wall. So I'll show you both options. So pectoral, ball is going to go against the wall. And it's hard to tell from this angle, but basically I am searching this entire area of wherever it feels comfortable. There's some fascial connections in through here. You can move through here, but those trigger points are going to be a little bit harder to get on the wall. Save that for your massage therapist. So I'm going to search. When I find that spot, I'm just going to hold and take a couple of deep breaths. Now, I'm going to do this quickly for the sake of the video. You're not going to want to spend more than a few minutes per area max, right? Hold for 10 to 30 seconds. If you have to do this a couple times a day, that's better than having to be like, I'm going to spend 20 minutes foam rolling. Less interaction more often is generally going to be more effective. Generally. Now, from a doorway perspective, I have a sliding door here, which is not always helpful. So I'm going to get in my doorway here, and I'm going to lean here and kind of do that same concept of rolling the pectoral. That's for my claustrophobic people, right? Now, when it comes to traps in mid-back, right, this whole line down and through here, we never want to work on the spine, right? When you foam roll on the spine, just generally not a good idea. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off to one side or the other and start searching. Now, if you want to start kind of searching traps here, that's fine, but I would much prefer you roll pectorals first. Little bonus, you can also add a little bit of this subscap release too. So basically I'm going behind the armpit if you're needing that additional interaction. Rolling the triceps is going to be here. Now, I'm in no way saying that these are the order to do things. This video is a reference video. So if you know you need to foam roll these areas, now you know how. And depending on what you're going through, then you can play around with these orders and stuff. But generally, for most people, start with pectorals. So then, against the wall, not going on the spine, I'm going to start here, wherever that trigger point is. I even like to kind of give myself a little hug here, get underneath the scapula a little bit, and I'm just going to gently search. Now I'm going to get up against the wall and do one of these numbers. No, I'm kind of leaning forward and moving, and then I like to reach behind me to move the ball, if your mobility allows, because I want to practice that range of motion long term. I want to be able to still do this as I get older. You can tell where my imbalances are, right? But that's something that we tend to forget about or we tend to lose. So then I'm scooting the ball down the wall, kind of leaning forward, doing a little searching, checking my trigger points, moving down, searching, checking my trigger points. If you want to get into a little bit of hip release while you're doing this, you can work this all the way down into the side of the hip here. And the reason I say that on my upper body video is it's connected, right? So that's still a part of that chain. Those are going to be just some general upper body release strategies. If you have more questions, like I said before, feel free to reach out. But just remember to be gentle on yourself, please. Your body has showed up for you every single day, so maybe give it some love instead of aggression, especially when it comes to foam rolling.